This video is a beginner's guide to setting up React Native without Expo on Windows. You will normally go by this approach when you need to use some native code in your project, or you have an existing native project and you want to add React Native to it. Also, if you have ejected your project from Expo, you will need this. I will guide you through the things you need to install, how to create and run a project, and the limitations applicable. Starting with what to install, the first one is Node.js. To do this, it is recommended to use the Windows package manager known as Chocolate. So in our browser, we head to chocolate.org and visit the installation page. On the page, we locate the installation command which we then copy. Now we need to paste this command in a powerful Powershell. So we open it in administrator mode by right-clicking. We then paste the command and hit enter to start executing. You will need an internet connection for this to work. With the installation complete, you can close and open the Powershell again for the changes to take effect. If you prefer the command prompt or any other terminal to the Powershell, you can open it at this point. Now we use the choco install command to install Node.js. But this will install the very latest version of Node.js which might not be so stable. So we add -lts to install a long-term support version which is more stable. The second thing to install is the Java development kit, and this can be done with Chocolate as well. The package name is OpenJDK and version 11 or above is fine for React Native. With this installation complete, we move to the next one which is Android Studio. To install this, we visit the Android Studio download page which you can get there by just searching for it. We start the download by hitting the download button and scrolling to accept the terms and conditions applicable. This might take a while to complete depending on how fast your network is. So once it's complete, we run the setup as an administrator to begin the process. Sometimes you'll be prompted if you want to remove previous versions of Android Studio from your PC. If you get that prompt, make sure to allow it. Now you need to ensure that the checkboxes for the components are checked, including the Android virtual device. We go with all the default settings and start the installation process. With the setup completed, you should be able to proceed and start the application. While the application starts, there is an automatic check for available SDK components. When nothing is found, in this case because of the new installation, we need to proceed from the window to start the download process. On the SDK component setup page, we stick with the defaults. If you want to change the location for the SDK, you can do that. Proceeding will then give you a review of what will be downloaded. Now you need to accept the license agreement and then click next to start the download. This might take a while to complete, but once it's done, we can finish it and be presented with the welcome page. Now on the welcome page, we need to visit the SDK manager. Depending on the version of your Android Studio, there might be a configure or an options button that you can find it under. For mine, it's under more actions. Ideally, you always want to have the latest Android SDK version for developing with React Native. So if that is not installed, we want to check it. Now before we install it, we want to check the option at the bottom to show package details and ensure that under the chosen version, we have the Android SDK platform and the system image for either Intel x86 Atom or Google API Intel x86 checked for the installation, but having both won't hurt as well. With that done, we switch tabs to the SDK tools and check the box to show package details as well. Now under Android SDK build tools, we expand and ensure that at least a latest version has been installed. Android Studio automatically installs the most appropriate versions at the time of installation. Now we can click on apply and confirm for the downloads to begin. My components downloaded with one failure, which was the Intel x86 Atom. But the Google API's Intel was successfully downloaded, so I should be fine. Having completed the installation like that, we need to configure the Android home environment variable. This is required by React Native to be able to build native code. To access this, you can quickly search for path in the start menu and select Edit the System Variables option. You proceed by clicking the environment variables on the pop-up window. Now you choose the option to create a new variable under your user variables. The name of the variable will be Android Home, all caps with the underscore. For the value, we go back to the Android Studio. Still on the SDK Manager page, we see the path to our SDK app here, and that's the value we will use. So back in the input field, we can add the value and save it. Now to confirm that the addition was successful, we need to use PowerShell. So in PowerShell, we paste this command. I'll try and put this command in the description below the like button. In the result, you should be able to locate Android Home if it was successful. Now once again, we go to the environment variables window and locate the path environment variable and edit it. Now we choose to add a new variable and paste the link to our Android SDK. We then select it and target the platform tools subdirectory. We can then go ahead to save the changes. At this point, I highly recommend that you fully restart your PC before continuing. This will get rid of some of the unexpected errors that could occur. You can also proceed without restarting, but if you get some errors along the way, you should consider restarting. With that out of the way, we can create a new React Native project on the command line. So we navigate to the directory where we want to store our work. This can be any location at all. The command we will use is nps react native init, followed by the name of our project. There used to be a React Native CLI package for this purpose, but it's no longer recommended, and it's advisable to remove it if you have installed it before. You can do that with npm uninstall, followed by the package name, but it doesn't apply to you if you haven't installed it before. The nps react native command will automatically create your app using the latest React Native version. If you get an error on the first attempt of creating the app, try it again. I had to run mine twice to get it to work successfully. This will take some time to get done. With that done, we can get ready to run it by changing into the project directory. Now we start the development server that comes with React Native. It is known as Metro. nps react native start is the command for that. Now we leave it running and open another command line in the same directory to be used a bit later. Now there are two ways in which you can run and see the output of React Native projects. The first way is to make use of a physical device for testing. To prepare the physical device, in this case Android, we visit the settings to turn on USB debugging. To be able to do that, we first need to enable developer options. Unless you can already see it in the list of your settings, you have to visit About Phone and Software Information after that. Now, you tap on the build number about 7 times, so the message says that you have enabled developer options. After that, you can return to the main settings menu and then visit developer options. In the developer options, you scroll to relocate USB debugging and turn it on. Now we connect the physical device to our PC via USB. Now on the command line, we check if our device is properly connected using the adb devices command. ADB is an abbreviation for Android Debug Bridge. If you receive any permission pop-ups, do allow them. Running the command for a second time, we see device in the right column, which means that our device is properly connected. We only need one connected device at a time. Now we can run the app on it using nps react native run Android. This should perform a few processes and open the app on the device. It took more than 16 minutes for mine to get done the first time, so you need a bit of patience here. So far as the app opens on our device with no problems, some of these warnings can be ignored. Now to be able to make changes and actually build your app, you need to open your project in a code editor. If you have VS Code installed, you can do that easily by visiting your project directory on the command line and entering the code command. With that open, you can make all your changes starting with the main app.js file. Recent versions of React Native make use of a type reference known as flow. This can generate some errors in VS Code. So if you are not a fan, you can get rid of them and use your regular component syntax. React Native comes with a fast refresh feature, which ensures that changes to your code are reflected in the app almost immediately, which is very useful. There is also a developer menu which can be accessed by checking the physical device or by using Ctrl+M shortcut when using a virtual device, which we will get to shortly. In the menu, you have the option to reload your app manually, turn off the fast refresh if you want to, among other options. Now let's look at the second way that you can use to run your app. This is by using a virtual device, and Android Studio can help us to create one. So we open Android Studio once again. To save our site insanity, let's change the theme of the window to a darker one. If your OS is already in the dark theme, you can just sync it with it. Now we head to the SDK manager once again. Switching to the SDK tools tab, we have to ensure that Android Emulator has been installed successfully. Also, we need the Intel Emulator Accelerator to be installed. We then proceed to apply and confirm our selection. There is the need to agree to a license once again. On the emulator settings pop-up, we stick to all the defaults. This will require another agreement, so we do that and the installation begins. With that completed, we exit and go back to the welcome page and to the AVD or Virtual Device Manager. On the resulting window, if you don't have any devices listed here, you need to click on the button for creating one. The next step is to select the hardware for your device. This is the physical device that you want to emulate. You can choose any device of your choice and click Next. I prefer to use the latest Pixel device available. Now you need to select the operating system for your device. Once again, I prefer the latest one. If it hasn't been downloaded yet, you can download it and use it after it's complete. Next, you can alter the name of your device if you want to. Otherwise, you can click on Finish to create the virtual device. At this point, you should be able to start your device using the little play button next to the device. This will start a long and boring process of setting the device up by itself until it's done and ready to be used. The emulator should be responsive and behave as a physical device would if everything is completed successfully. Now, ensuring that our physical device is disconnected from our PC via the USB, we can run the Android command again with the Metro server still in the background, and it should open on the emulator if everything is fine. Now when you make any changes, just like the actual device, it will be updated automatically. Clicking on the emulator and hitting R twice, the app will refresh. Also, you can access the developer menu with the Ctrl+M shortcut. Now, what are the limitations applicable to developing React Native apps on Windows? The main one is that you are limited to testing the app only on the Android operating system, even though the app itself created with React Native is cross-platform, meaning it should work on both iOS and Android devices. You need to be on the macOS to be able to build and test the app on both the iOS simulator and actual iOS devices. Expo is a bit lenient in that regard, so you can check out how that is set up as well from the video on your screen now. Also, the playlist here contains some other useful videos that you can check out.